Guys, it's Will Krisky. I just wanted to chat about desserts. So I get a lot of questions, and part of the problem is I have to deal with people at different levels of their, of health or different body fat percentages and that. So my general rule of thumb is to handle with care. There's so many vegan Facebook pages and that where people tend to get excited about the fact that all these desserts are vegan, but they can add a lot of fat and calories. There's a lot of nuts and even oil and fake dairy products. And so, my general philosophy is to try to avoid them. I know that people, we like to have our treat here and there. And when you go 100% into this diet, I find that your taste buds do change. You tend to like the sweet, fruits and things like that. But if occasionally, you want something, some kind of a dessert, there's some recipes for things. But you have to kind of judge yourself, based on what your response is to these things. If you tend to really go crazy for them and power them, eat them all in a day or something like that, you should take note. And it depends on what your capability is as far as moderation, as far as how much you consume these things if you make them. So one thing I think is try to make them yourself if you're going to eat dessert, so that there's more effort involved. And then if you make the low-fat versions, that'll help. But try to be full on the three meals, like the potato starch-based meals, the rice or potatoes, and that's going to help a lot I feel for cravings and that. Yeah, that's kind of the core message. If you're down and you've reached a goal weight, you can make an occasional dessert. I think that you'll be fine. But one of the problems is once you get to a maintenance phase and then you start, letting your foot off the gas, that the weight can creep up again. So the way I look at it, like even if the dessert or any of the food that you're eating is, even if it's high carb, these are extra calories that your body, can use for energy, and it won't have to burn as much fat. So I would generally say you just try to avoid them. And, everybody has a transition phase. A lot of people have I've eaten some things. I made some like a raw brownie with dates, almond pulp, and cacao powder. And I just found that it was so tasty, and I couldn't believe it. It was just amazing. And I was, I'd eat the whole thing pretty quickly. And that kind of made me realize that, they can be dangerous. And these things were just eaten in between meals, so they weren't even they wasn't really replacing a meal or anything like that. And right now I'm still trying to lose more fat. I want to get, down, and I'm just going to basically handle it with care and just have an occasional treat, and not do it like every day for sure. I mean, that's just a given. So banana ice cream is a good one. You can make you can take frozen ripe bananas and blend them, and there's some things you can put on there. A little bit of walnuts, and sometimes people put maple syrup. Or another way, a little healthier, would be blend it with some strawberries that have been defrosted. They get pretty juicy and sweet. Some of the flour is fairly high density calories, so like you start making muffins and with flour, and a lot of them have maple syrup and brown sugar and stuff like that. So I've done it here and there. I don't have a huge sweet tooth, so I don't go crazy with them, but I would generally advise that you guys be very careful, especially if you're trying to lose weight. And just see how you react if you do happen to make something, and you can sort of sense that addictive, obsessive quality that starts to come out. You think about it, you keep going back to the fridge. If that's happening, then just take note. And going 100%, just plant-based, has really changed our. We had cheese, we used to eat cheese and oil, and it's just completely removed any desire for that. So yeah, desserts, very kind of a dangerous area to get into, but you know, we're all human and occasionally you want to have something. So I would say that you know, do what you got to do once in a while, but just keep in mind that these things can add a ton of calories. There's a lot of fat in even in the vegan version. So yeah, let me know if you have any questions and post them in the video. And if you like this, and you check out the other videos I've got, and subscribe, share the videos with your friends and family, and that would be very helpful. All right, see you guys.